अस्सलाम वालेकुम, कैसे हैं? उम्मीद करता हूँ सब ठीक होंगे, खैरियत से होंगे। ये जो आप मेरे पीछे देख रहे हैं वॉक्सवैगन की क्लासिक गाड़ी।
1974 Volkswagen Beetle, and the owner of this car has owned it since 1996. In fact, it was his first car, but it certainly wasn't in this condition back in 96, and he kept it scurried away unrunning until not so long ago when he had it fully gone through every nut and bolt restored. This is one of the most gorgeous Beetles I've ever seen, and it caught my eye at Garage 42, so I knew we had to feature it on the channel. When he offered me a drive in this thing, I jumped at it. Now, surprisingly, this is the first Volkswagen Beetle I've ever driven. I've driven a bunch of Speedsters and 356s, even the 2CV, and of course the snarky folks love to say, oh, nice Beetle whenever you drive a Porsche 911, but this is the real deal. But of course the Volkswagen has a checkered past because it started as a project by Adolf Hitler working with Ferdinand Porsche to create a Peopleswagen, literally, and this is what ended up coming out of that. It was an air-cooled rear-engine four-cylinder that could be made cheaply and get people around on the new highway system in Germany. Now, the goal of this car was to achieve 32 miles per gallon, of course, be inexpensive, and the reason it became air-cooled was that water would have been the primary device of cooling a non-air-cooled car, a water-cooled car, literally, and they didn't want it to freeze because they assumed most folks, most ordinary folks, wouldn't have a garage to store this in during the winter. Now, this one started off in California, and it is still all California compliant. You can see they fit in a whole bunch of little emissions things in here, but this is one of the cleanest engine bays I've ever seen. Not to mention, probably the best plate in the game. Now, this being a Super Beetle means that it's very different up front. From the A-pillar forward, it's different than the skin strut setup, which allows us to have all this additional room. And although this car has been repainted, this is time Volkswagen offered an auto stick, which was a clutchless manual transmission. Essentially, you still shifted your gears, but you did not use a clutch.